Hey, this is Don McGrath, and in this video I'll be teaching you about how to be introduced as a speaker. This is the first impression that your audience is going to get of you. So it's actually pretty critical to have this go properly. We've probably all been to talks where we didn't even get introduced, and that's the worst thing that can happen. So what I'll do is I'll talk to you about a couple of different ways to get introduced that will be effective in having a good impression of you. So the audience gets a good first impression of you. So often what happens is you go to speak somewhere and there's an MC or someone who doesn't even know you. So when they go to introduce you, they need something to go from. And talking to them a few minutes beforehand or trading a few emails a week before is not enough. Come prepared with a very short, like 3 bullets, overview of your background. Nothing that's a tome where they're going to have to read from it because that's just kind of boring. So just a few bullet points. This is Don McGrath joining us from Colorado Springs. He's an expert in mental training for rock climbing. Please help me welcome to the stage Dr. Don McGrath. Nothing more than that. So just very short. The longer you make it, the harder the person's going to have doing a good job at it. And having it be long, they're going to stress out about it. So it's actually pretty important what they do, and you want to control what they do as much as possible. Now, if you have a choice of the person who's going to introduce you, it's not a bad idea to have whoever the organizer for the event is. That's not always possible. Sometimes the MC is the MC is the MC. But if that's possible, the kind of more recognizable the person is to the audience that introduces you, the more credibility you're going to have. So if you can get the organizer to do it, if not, then the MC is great. I would get to know them a little bit beforehand, give them the notes, run through it with them, answer any questions they have to prepare them for introducing you. Now, often they've got a lot of things to do, so you're only going to get a minute or two probably of their time. So it has to be short and has to be concise. So that's the simplest, easiest way. So they're on the stage and they say, "Hey, I want to introduce Don McGrath, who is joining us from Colorado Springs, Colorado, and he is an expert in mental training for rock climbing. Please help me welcome to the stage Dr. Don McGrath." And then, people applaud. You run up to the stage, try to have as much energy as you possibly can. Greet the person where they stand. Greet the MC where they stand. Shake their hand. Could even do like a shoulder hug, whatever thing, but you want to arrange that beforehand. If you're going to shake hands, say, "I'm going to come up and shake your hand," or "Are you okay? How do you want me to greet you?" So get that understood beforehand. So go up, greet them, step into the place that they made the announcement from. And what this does is that replaces their position on the stage as the MC with you as the presenter. So in that way, you kind of get a bit of an influence transfer when that happens. So that's the simplest way to do an introduction. Don just introduced me and say, "Thank you so very much, Don." And then I'm going to turn and greet you. So,
yes, okay.
So what's the purpose of that introduction?
To thank your introducer.
To thank your introducer. What else?
Establishes credibility.
Boom. And so it's really important. And have you ever been to a talk where it was just kind of started off kind of lame and kind of like it was kind of flat? Mm-hmm. And often the MC doesn't know anything about the person who's presenting, or they don't even say anything. Well, that's not a good way to start your talk off, right? Because you need to capture people's attention right away. So the simplest and best way is just what Dawn did. Dawn, if I can have you come back up again. Mm-hmm. So she says things about me. Come and thank you very much. Thank you so much. Yes. And now she started off with credibility because she hosted you all here, right? And so now I step into her credibility. Does that make sense? So now I've got the stage and she transfers. Now, a better way or a more advanced way is if you have an introduction or a sizzle reel. And this is a short video, a minute and a half or so, that does a lot of the speaking for them. So they don't really have to introduce you very much at all. They could say something like, they're up on stage, they say something like, please help me welcome Dr. Don McGrath, who's joining us all the way from Colorado Springs, and I've got a short video about Dr. McGrath. Then the technology person plays the video, and then at the end of it, you come up on the stage and you greet them. It actually is a better way to do it. It's a more advanced way to do it. It gets the audience more excited, it gives them more information about you, relieves the stress from the MC. So if you can do it, that's a great way to do it. Now, what I'll be doing is I'm gonna, after this little clip, you're going to see an example of my sizzle reel so you can get an idea of what this looks like.
Sought after by successful individuals and companies around the globe. Don McGrath is an award-winning author, speaker, trainer, and technology innovator. With decades of experience as a leader in Fortune 500 companies. He is founder, president, and CEO of Contour Leadership, whose mission is to show individuals and teams how to unlock and unleash their full potential and step into their greatness. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and join me in welcoming to the stage Dr. Don McGrath.
So in this video, I taught you about how to be introduced when you're speaking. And if you implement these ways, you're going to have a much better response from the audience, and there's a higher chance that the audience is going to take whatever your call to action is. You're going to start off on the right foot with the audience, with credibility, with them paying attention, with them knowing as much about you as possible. So implement these things and your speaking will just take it to the next level.